Hey guys, KB here, Season Suburbs. Welcome aboard. Wow, we are done with January. Guys, can you believe that? January is gone. Um, just flies right by, doesn't it? And before you know it, you'll have your toes in the sand, right? You hope. Anyway, so a friend of mine asked me the other day, said, a friend, someone I work with, hey, what do you think of the top 10 places in Massachusetts that are actually the worst to live in? And I rattled off past 10. And actually, no, Worcester did not make the top 10 in Massachusetts, sorry to say. But I rattled off Lawrence, Lowell, New Bedford, Fall River, Brockton, Springfield, Holyoke, North Adams. For all its arts, culture, it has significant poverty out there and a drug culture. Okay, so in the Northeast, I don't know. Particularly here in Worcester, just because we didn't make it to the top 10, and a lot of, believe me, depends on who you ask. It could be almost opinion based, but it's really based on education levels, employment, how much someone is making per person, and but we just have a bunch of old infrastructure, and Worcester's trying. I mean, we actually one of the fortunate older industrial cities that, we could say, well, we're a bit creative, a little bit more creative, and because I think we have the infrastructure, we have 10 colleges, universities, whatever they're called these days, but it's always been an epicenter of learning and innovation. And but what would your report card be on Worcester in 2025? Listening to, first of all, we have a new city council, one female. I don't know what to say, female, woman. We have one female on the city council. That's incredible. Now, I don't know if that'll shape things differently. Gender should not play any role in politics, I believe. It doesn't matter whether it's a man, a woman, but they made it a thing here in the Worcester papers that, oh boy, this councilor didn't come back and this one got voted out, that one got voted out, and here we are. But what is your report card for Worcester 2025? Let me just say 2026, the last storm we just had, which was a week ago. We're looking at I believe around the 24th, the 25th. It snowed. It was really more of a substantial snow than Worcester and Boston and other municipalities have seen in a long time. That being said, Worcester, really cleaned up, if you will, in the towing and ticketing department, which they really haven't enforced a parking ban this year. Worcester's funny, you come out, there's a ticket on your car, there's not a ticket on his car, their car, whatever. But yeah, 720 tickets, parking violations were issued, along with 400 tows. Now, that's significant. Now, let me say, they canceled school on Tuesday and after the storm. I'm sorry, on the Monday and into Tuesday. And then this previous Friday, which was January 30th, it was also canceled. School was, however they say it, right? No school today. That's what we used to say when I was a kid. And largely probably because the buses, God help them if they're going to run. And when they run, you're going to run them for 2 hours because they're just big old aluminum cans. They're pretty cold, so dress your kid warm when you put them on there, but on that bus. But what would your report card be? I mean, we're still, just an example, Worcester, the Worcester Auditorium, all right? We're going on for years. I read tidbits of the redevelopment of the Worcester Auditorium. And actually in Lawrence and Lowell, those auditoriums are doing great. They're very functional. Of course, they don't have the competition of a big convention center and, the DCU center as such. where all the big acts go. So, obviously the smaller venues in Worcester have really had to be created, from the Hanover Theater to Mechanics Hall. And now what is Worcester Auditorium going to be? You are still in Worcester. If you're in Worcester, you are still, some of your money is going, some of your tax money is going to the Worcester Public Schools, obviously. Your property tax money is being sent over, and whatever taxes, are gathered, but some of that's sent over to the Worcester Auditorium's way to just keep the lights on. And, with Jake Sanders is the individual that works for the city, responsible head chief to get some ideas to redevelop that property and repurpose the property. Could be a lot of things, but the parking around there, forget that. You'd have to build another parking garage, which, who wants to see another parking garage in Worcester? I do not. But anyway, thank you for the city, to the city of Worcester, for towing and ticketing all those folks, which is about 1,100 people between, towing and parking tickets. I get it. People are irresponsible. But the city, has not even been called into question about the side roads. The side roads were bogus, unless you had four-wheel drive. Five-wheel drive would be nice, but you weren't getting around, and there was no place for your kid to stand. I work on Lincoln Street. Lincoln Street, to the business owners on Lincoln Street, get it together. You're making money off the people who live in that neighborhood. At least shovel the goddamn sidewalks for them. Beep, beep, sorry about the damn. Also, too, the city manager was saying that of Worcester that, well, we're having a labor shortage problem. Well, you have your Department of Public Works. They're not the only ones. I mean, there's private contractors that I have a good friend of mine that plows for a nearby town outside of Worcester, and he said people don't want to plow in Worcester. Contractors don't want to plow in Worcester. Why? Well, the streets are terrible to plow in Worcester, but because of their encounters with the neighbors. Can you imagine that? All right? Just mean people in Worcester. This is what they say. I'm not saying you're mean, okay? But plow here, how can you plow him out? And, and you're a contractor. You're making, I think Worcester may be paying like $120 an hour for for contractors, but there's a labor shortage between the city employees and the private contractors that they can bring on to make sure that you get to work. So, and another thing too, so let's look at the Healy administration, just unrolled their budget. It's up 3.8% from last year. We're looking at a fiscal 27 budget of $62.8 billion, okay, to $63.4 billion. So it is up, and it's going to be focusing on more education, transportation, childcare, and quality of life challenges. And it still has to pass through the House. We get that, and we'll see what happens. But with all the cuts from the federal government, if you're a sanctuary city, the diversity, and whatever that happens, I mean, you're in charge of your own state, right? So we got to make sure we're balancing our budget okay. And really looking into the Department of Energy, and I'll leave you with this, because I really wanted to talk about Cape Cod potato chips. So I'll give you guys the choice. What's the sexier topic? Cape Cod potato chips or Eversource gas? Okay, your delivery charges. Read your bill. Okay, there's paying for the gas supply that the company gives that, they have to buy it, then they have to deliver it to you. Each person is paying about, $240 more a year. Massachusetts has this, what they say is a mass saves, and gives discounts and credits, if you will, on if you own a home and you're doing these kind of improvements, you could save this, save that. But that doesn't, look, Worcester is more than 50% renters, and they're paying for their own heat, whether it's oil, gas, or whatever. They're not in a mass save program. and the Haley administration spends $5 billion a year on mass save and, you know, moving to a greener infrastructure. I get that, but, you know, if you're a renter, the mass save program does nothing for you. So Cape Cod potato chips being sold, gone. I mean, they sold out, man. These brothers that started this company in 1980 became bigger. They moved to their Hyannis factory in 1985. I believe Lance Corporation merged with Snyder out of Lowell or Lawrence up there. At least it was still local until Campbell Corporation came in and bought up them as their snack operation. So now the potato chips will be made in Wisconsin. Let me see if I get this right. Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. And I saw a lot of things today. Are you still going to buy Cape Cod potato chips? Because they're not made in Cape Cod anymore. Well, I don't know. I mean, you can go to any really good, you know, cocktail lounge and probably get a Cape Codder in California. It's like, is it a branded name? Is it not? It's not. That's the brand name. Okay, it doesn't have to be. Yeah, it's indigenous beginnings. Of course, we're in Hyannis on Main Street down there. But it also says, you know, helps me, you know, well, it doesn't help me figure out why people sell out so quickly. You know, Campbell's is a huge corporation, and just like all these corporations, they want to buy the smaller businesses out that are very successful because it expands their portfolio of what the company's worth is. And by the way, there were about 50 people that were working in the factory in Hyannis. So already the Cape Cod potato chips were being made around the country. They weren't, I never look at the bag. Of course, I'm from New England, so I assume, hey, these are made right down the street from me. But that's not the case. Only 4% of your Cape Cod potato chips were being made at the Hyannis plant, which I would think is more press the button manufacturing, and then the guys working on the docks. There were about 49, 50 people working there. Of course, they'll be given their unemployment, some departure money, and they're going to help them with job placement. I love hearing that. Anyway, just a quick check-in for you, but what's Worcester's report card? What do you guys think about, are you going to buy Cape Cod potato chips anymore? Are you offended? I'm not offended, you know, but people have to make money, right? So what I would say is this, eat what you like, you know, and where it's made now, we have so many things that are made in this country, man. So you decide. I'll see you in the next video. Maybe it'll be after the Super Bowl. All right, Kenny B checking out. Take care. Thanks for watching.